Yo, welcome to Spider Y2 Banana Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin, and joining me is your boy Garvey. Garvey?
And I'm his co-host Garvey. Yes, that was quite the intro you had prepared, Kevin.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Um, so one of the things we had was audio. So I'm gonna try to make sure our audio is good for this episode. Hopefully it's better. I'm turning you up as well as myself. So hopefully it's better. I guess we'll see. But we had one of the best week ones in football in recent memory to me. So
Lots of surprises.
but before we get in, as you can see above our names, we have a record, and that record indicates how we're doing in predictions. And as you can see from both of ours, not too hot. I am beating Kevin by one game. And, you know, I think me and Kevin are going to start talking about a forfeit at the end of this year, whoever has a worse record. So we'll come back to that. But I think Kevin's going to be doing whatever the forfeit is for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah. You're losing right now.
Yeah, by one.
Okay, so anyway, let's just get into it. Let's get into the week that we just watched. Let's recap a little bit, and then we'll get into our game picks. All right. So first things first. Did what stuck out to you this week? Any big teams,
Um,
people,
yeah,
players?
yeah, the Texans. I mean, I didn't expect them to actually beat Jaguars, but they really came out with a lead early, I would say, or I think like in the second half or something like that. Yeah, them beating the Jaguars and forcing Trevor Lawrence with 3 interceptions was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I did. I think we both picked the Jaguars, right?
Yep.
I think it just shows how bad that Jaguars defense is, and there's still a ton of work to be done, even on offense on that team. So, even if you are Jaguars fans, there were a few good things from Trevor Lawrence, but I think it's going to be at least 2 more seasons until that team's really good to go. It's going to take a lot to rebuild that defense.
Mhm.
For me, well, I would say the Bills. Obviously, that's my favorite team, so I don't want to go too much into that. But I didn't expect the Steelers to win. Now, I will say the Steelers have a great defense, and I already knew that going in. But the last time they played, T.J. Watt was pretty much held in check. And in this game, him and Melvin Gordon pretty much had their way with the Bills' offensive line, and it wasn't expected to me. I didn't expect us to lose. We lost by a blocked punt, but who knows how that game goes? We might still lose. We might lose by more. So I think that was pretty surprising to me for sure.
Yeah, I didn't watch that game. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean it's just tough.
All right.
Another game. Well, let me go with another one for me real quick. The
Okay.
Cardinals absolutely obliterating the Titans was
Yeah, I
not
was gonna
something I
say that.
expected.
Was not expect
Yeah.
that. With how well
Um,
Chandler Jones playing, I mean, he could be like defensive player of the year candidate.
yeah. Easily. I mean, he should be in the running almost every year. Um, so I think that defense, the way they upgraded around that entire team, they really went after the defense this offseason, drafting Zaven Collins and adding J.J. Watt. Like uh, that's a really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald was the one who won it. I didn't think Chandler Jones won it. I just wanted to make sure. Aaron Donald won it last year. I thought T.J. Watt maybe should have won it. Not to take away from Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, I think, in my personal opinion, might be the best pass rusher of all time. Just especially coming in from the interior defensive line position, what he does is insane. But Chandler Jones, obviously leader in defensive player of the year so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side of it, the Titans' offense was pretty disappointing. So,
True, true.
um,
Um,
anything else?
yeah, the Packers and the Saints. I was not expecting the Packers to not score a touchdown. I mean, I
Yeah,
expected them to at least keep the game close, but for the Saints to come out with 38-3, I don't know what the hell Packers doing.
Yeah, that's a tough loss for them. But I mean, I think just like the Bills, that's not the end of the world for this team. They'll be back. There's just not much to say to it. I think Packers kind of have this game every year. They kind of have a game where it's like Aaron Rodgers has to come out and tell everyone to relax, that they're going to be fine. So
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay, but maybe they aren't the same team as they were last year. So
Maybe Aaron Rodgers
maybe
doesn't care.
you think he's throwing?
I think he's drunk.
Yeah, I don't know if he's throwing. I don't think he would throw, but it's pretty interesting to think about though. That whole team is in general, because it wasn't just Aaron Rodgers who underperformed. It was really the entire offense, and then the defense just having to keep going back on that field. They didn't give up a ton of pass yards to Jameis Winston, but they gave up five. What was it? 5 touchdowns? 4 touchdowns? 4 touchdowns, I think.
It was 5.
Was it 5? Like,
Yeah.
I think it was 5 actually. Now that you remind me, yeah, that's tough, man. Like for real. Like, I love Jameis Winston, and maybe LASIK was perfect for him, but first game back. First game back to him starting, and he's throwing at 5, and I love Jameis Winston, so hopefully he is good. I have one more that I want to talk about is the Ravens and the Raiders. I mean, for one, that was an insane game to watch. It was like a great football game and a horrible football game at the same time. Just it was a good game though. In the end, Raiders win. Zay Jones, Bills legend, gets the final touchdown, and I didn't expect it. I had the Ravens winning that one, so maybe the Raiders will be better this year. I just still am not 100% buying in, but I love how their defensive line is playing, even without one of their top picks from a couple years ago. So
Yeah.
You got anything to add to that? You think we're good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I mean, everything else seems pretty good.
Yeah,
The Eagles playing pretty well against the Falcons. I mean, I wasn't expecting that.
10 upsets happened last week, so that's something to keep in mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were 10 underdogs, so take that as a grain of salt, but 10 underdogs won yet last week, and the Cowboys played extremely well against the Bucs, although DeMarcus Lawrence did just get hurt, so that's something to keep an eye on. So
Yep.
Washington lost against the Chargers. I really thought Washington was going to win that game. I picked Philly to win. I didn't think they were going to win 32-6, but I think I picked Minnesota to beat the Bengals.
Yeah, I was surprised
that game went to overtime. Yeah, I mean, weren't they up? They were up like 2 possessions, so
yeah, something like
that's
that.
a tough one. I actually picked the Colts to win. I didn't think the Seahawks were going to come out on fire and even hold the Colts offense to only 16 points. So that was pretty impressive as well.
Well, I mean, Russell Wilson had like 3 touchdowns in the first half, I think.
Yeah, I mean, two to Tyler Lockett, and they were both great touchdowns. So
Yeah.
Who else played? The Rams beat the Bears. I didn't expect much from the Bears, but the Rams absolutely. It just felt like they were in control the whole game.
I think Matt Nagy should start Justin Fields.
I think it'll happen. It just, who knows when it will happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that's good for me as far as a recap goes.
Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds good.
Okay, so let's get into each game. We can go a little bit more in depth than normal because we don't have a lot to talk about as the weeks go on. We don't have predictions to make or anything like that. We just have to predict the games. So let's just go into it. Who do we got Thursday?
Giants versus Washington.
What a Thursday night game that is, huh?
Yeah, pretty boring.
I'll take. I think I'm gonna take Washington still. Wait, Ryan Fitzpatrick is out. That's kind of a tough game. Let me take the Giants actually. I think Daniel Jones will have a fine game, and hopefully Saquon gets back on track. I don't know if he's even gonna play personally. I know he's questionable with the knee injury. He was questionable with the knee injury against the who'd they play last week?
Broncos.
The Broncos. So. It might just be another game where he doesn't get a bunch of carries.
Much as I like the Giants, I think Washington's gonna win. I mean, I think Taylor Heineke played really well. when he had to step in for Ryan Fitzpatrick against the Chargers.
Still
And
lost.
yeah, I mean they lost, but
And their defense didn't play as well as I thought they would. They
I
did.
think
I mean, they only held them to 20 points or whatever it was, but still, I kind of thought. I think Chase Young didn't have any sacks. I don't know if how many pressures he had or anything, but I just think I
yeah.
thought that defense would play a lot better, and which is why I picked them to win last week. So I think I'm going to go with the Giants, especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick out.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stick with Washington. Was I didn't like. I mean, watching the Giants versus the Broncos. I mean, there's so many bad things that were happening.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not a good game for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I just kind of feel like it's going to be a really close game, and I'm going to take the Giants just kind of on a limb. I think it could go either way. My heart wants to say Washington, but just the way they lost to the Chargers last week, I'm not super impressed. So I'm going to go Giants, but in a close game. I could see it going either way.
Yeah. All right. Next game is Patriots versus Jets.
I'm going to go Patriots. Better
Okay.
defense. Better team all around. I do like what I saw from Zach Wilson. Corey Davis did, as well as I thought he would do as the number one. But Mekhi Becton, I think he's out for the season. No, he's getting surgery. I think he's out for like 8 weeks or 12 weeks, something. I don't even know if there's a full timetable out on him, but I think he dislocated his knee, and then he's having surgery. But
Yeah, I'm
I'll
gonna
take the
go.
Patriots there.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Patriots too. I think the Patriots had like a better run game, and plus, since Mac Jones he was pretty good passing the ball against the Dolphins. So I think they're gonna open up the playbook a little bit, give Mac Jones some passing plays, and therefore I think the Patriots gonna win that game.
Yeah, I do like what the Patriots did on offense last week. A little bit better than I thought expected, really.
Yeah.
So I'll take. I'm definitely taking the Patriots there.
All right. Next game is Broncos versus Jags.
I'm taking the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos too. I think the
That's pretty
Broncos
easy
is
to
a better
me.
team.
Yeah, way better team. Jaguars, like I said, you might have a bright future with Zach or with Trevor Lawrence, but I'm just not seeing it from that team. That defense allowed a lot of points to a Texans mediocre offense, average offense. It's really not that great. I love Tyrod Taylor though, so I just don't think that Texans team's going to be anything. So like I just don't think it's a good sign when you give up that many points. And I think the Texans were the underdogs. So that was one of those games
Yep.
where there was an upset. So I'm gonna take the Broncos. Better offense.
All right. Next
Teddy
game
Two Gloves.
is Bills versus Dolphins.
I'm taking the Bills.
And the Bills. All right.
I just think the last week they did have a bad game, especially on offense, and the defense did have to be out there a little bit more in that second half. So their defense still has some work to do, but I think they're going to bounce back. I think Josh Allen has I don't know if he's undefeated against the Dolphins, but I think we have the Dolphins pretty well. It's in Miami, which they'll always bring up the weather and stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the Dolphins. The Bills. I don't like the Dolphins in this game, honestly.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Bills too. I think the Bills has a good chance to bounce back, but I don't think it's gonna be like a huge scoring game. I think it might be pretty close, maybe. But they do have like a good secondary, the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, I think we win by 2 possessions.
Okay.
But I do like the Dolphins this year. I think they're gonna be a playoff team. So,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, they have like a positive record last year, but they just didn't make the playoffs.
yeah, the AFC was very loaded last year. So,
Yeah.
I'm good with that game.
All right. Niners versus Eagles.
Niners.
Niners.
I think the Niners is a easy choice. The 49ers look great, even with Mostert going out. I know they did almost allow a comeback to the Lions, but I don't know what that is. I didn't really watch the game, so I don't know if that was conservative play calling. So
The Niners had a lot of fumbles, couple,
yeah, I did.
and
I did.
the Lions were able to capitalize on it.
it was kind of like the Titans situation. I know in Tennessee they fumbled like 3 times or something, but I think the 49ers offense and defense is better, so I expect the Niners to win that game.
Okay. I'm gonna say Eagles. I think.
Oh no, my internet has gone out. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut when it comes back. We'll be okay. All right, Kevin, we're back. Unfortunately, we had some delays with my internet, so we're gonna finish this the next day. This is Thursday, the day of the Thursday night game. But let's just pick up back where we were. Eagles. What do you got?
Yeah, Niners and Eagles. I got the Eagles. I picked the Eagles because of Jalen Hurts. I like what he did against the Falcons, and I think he's gonna continue that into the 49ers game and beat them.
Yeah, I believe I gave mine, but yeah, I think the Niners are gonna win. But I do think what you're saying is valid. I just don't. I want to see him do that against a great team. So,
Yeah.
I'm taking the 49ers there.
Okay. Next
Who we got
game
next?
is Rams versus Colts.
Yeah, I think so the Rams are definitely the better team here overall wise. So I'm gonna go with the Rams, but and I'm pretty disappointed in what the Colts showed us last week. So I'd hope to see more from them, but I just don't. I can't see the Colts winning this game.
Yeah, I'm with the Rams too. I think Matthew Stafford is a great addition to the team, and because of that, I think the Rams are one of the top tier team or playoff team contenders to say. And plus, they also have like a good defense, and the Colts to beat them, they gotta pull out some big plays.
Yeah, they're gonna need big plays on offense. I just don't know if they have it.
Okay. Next game is Raiders versus Steelers.
Give me the Steelers.
Steelers?
I do like the Raiders what they showed on Monday night, but that Ravens team is really depleted. And I also liked what the Steelers showed against the Bills last week. So although I think this game could go either way, I like the Steelers defense beating out the Raiders offense. So and the Steelers offense or the Steelers offense, yeah, isn't terrible. It's just like it's kind of like decent to me. It's above average. It's not terrible. It's not like a top 5 offense, but they can move that ball. They have some great receivers, and then Najee Harris, great.
I'm gonna say the Raiders. I'm gonna go with the Raiders just because they beat the Ravens, and going off of last year, I think the Steelers and Ravens had like the same record or something like that. But as long as the Raiders can like hold their own and play a great game, I think the Raiders can come out on top.
I think the Raiders will have another good game of maybe some pass rush. I just don't know how much that can carry them to a win. So I just like the Steelers offense more there, and the Steelers defense more.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, next game is Bengals versus Bears.
Bears. I'm gonna go Bears. I'm not a huge fan of the Bengals team overall, and they had a great win last week against the Vikings, but it's the Vikings. The Vikings are almost a similar team for me, where it's just like on both sides of the ball, they're not elite or even close to it really. The Bengals have a solid offense, and the Bengals offense could be elite if they had a better offensive line. But they did a pretty solid job last week, but I'm not sold on them. So I would expect the Bears to win this game, honestly, even with Andy Dalton still starting at quarterback. But I think we'll start to see some more Justin Fields here pretty soon.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I like what I saw last week. I think this is Joe Burrow's year, come back from his injury. I think Jamar Chase played pretty good, and I mean, who else was on that team? I mean, Joe Mixon balled out. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I didn't like
Okay.
Andy Dalton with the Bears. I think he's gonna play terrible.
I just think the Bears will be able to exploit that defense a little bit better than they were able to have success against. Who they played last week? They played the
Rams.
Rams. Oh well, yeah, the Rams have a great defense, so I'm not really.
If I was the Bears, I would start Justin.
I think they'll start him eventually. I think they're gonna give it like 4 or 5 games though.
Yeah.
So,
All right, next game: Texans versus Browns.
Browns, I think that's an easy one. Although I did like to see what I saw from the Texans and Tyrod Taylor. Um, I just don't know if that team's built to be any good teams, really. Even if they had Deshaun Watson, that team isn't like amazing. They have a great quarterback if they had him, and really one really solidified receiver or one good receiver, Brandon Cooks, and I think I love him in fantasy just because he's the main target there. So
Yeah.
I just don't know if that team on either side of the ball is going to be good enough to hang with any good teams this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Browns too. I mean, the Browns started off really good against the Chiefs, but fall short, and I think that's gonna pump them up for the next game against the Texans. And I think it should be a blowout. I think the defense is gonna hold the Texans down, even though they had a great start last week against the Jags.
Yeah, I just think they played a rookie quarterback last week and also a really bad team. In my opinion, the Jaguars are probably a bottom 28 team, anywhere 28 to 32, around that range, maybe even 26, just a little bit higher. But I just don't think the Jaguars are a great team, so it's not really a lot to go off by. But they did win the game, and I didn't think they would win the game, so props to them for that.
Yeah. All right, next game is Saints versus Panthers.
Give me the Saints.
Saints.
Well, yeah, give me the Saints. I really love Jameis Winston here, and the defense isn't bad either. There's some there could be some room for improvement there. Maybe just playing better, I guess, as a whole. But that offense, I'm actually a really big fan of, and even though they don't have Michael Thomas right now, I think they're going to be playing well. That tight end showed some stuff, and then Alvin Kamara obviously is one of the best running backs in the league. So I expect him to have a good game. The only thing with the Panthers for me is I'm just not sold on them yet, and I love the Sam Darnold pairing there too. It's just I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go. So I'm going to go with the Saints here.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I like what CMC did last week against Jets, and I feel like this is where one of the games where he's gonna ball out. Um, I like the Panthers defense over the Saints, maybe because I think they have a great secondary with a good D line, and plus the Panthers receivers feel like is a lot better than the Saints. So just because of that, I'm gonna go with the Panthers.
Yeah, the receivers on the Saints aren't as stacked as the Panthers, but I just don't know. I just like the way the Panthers are playing right now, so definitely the Saints. Sorry, rather.
Yeah.
Definitely taking the Saints there.
All right, next game.
Close game though. Close game for me.
Yeah, I can see it being a close game. All right, next game is Vikings versus Cardinals.
Cardinals. What they showed last week is that they could be a top 5 team in this league, and they're not playing a crazy good team this week. I don't think the Vikings are really anything special. Maybe another middle of the pack team this year. So I would expect the Cardinals to have another big game. Chandler Jones probably had to have another big game. Kyler Murray to do it again. I'm really thinking this will be another 12+ point win for the Cardinals.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals too. But I think it's gonna be like a high scoring game. I think the Vikings are gonna hit the practice fields and come back with like some great plays or whatever. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a high scoring game. But I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
The Vikings have a good offense, but even with that good offense, I think the Cardinals' offense is better. It's more 3-dimensional, whereas the Vikings really can either hand it off to Dalvin Cook 100 times, or they can make Kirk throw it 40 times, or split it between both, which is generally what they would do, is split it kind of. Mm-hmm. Especially if they're losing, they're gonna throw it more. But I really just like the overall team of the Cardinals more, defense and offense.
Yeah, for sure. Next game is Falcons versus Bucks.
Bucks, this is fairly simple to me. It's just I didn't like what I saw from the Falcons whatsoever last week. It was a pretty poor performance, and the Bucks looked great, even though they did keep it close with Dallas. But I think people should know that Dallas have a great offense.
Yeah.
So even though their defense is improved, I actually really liked how they played. Even though they did put up 35 points or allow 35 points, I think their defense is actually kind of improved this year. talent wise. So the pieces they've added, it'll be interesting to see. So, but Bucks. I was going on a tangent about the Cowboys, but Bucks, easy.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks too. I think the Bucks defense is gonna shut down the Falcons. I mean, the last week game against Falcons versus Eagles, it seemed like Matt Ryan couldn't get anything going, and it seems like the Bucks has like their Super Bowl winners from last year. Because of that, I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Next game, Titans versus Seahawks.
Titans Seahawks. I think this is the bounce back game for the Titans. I actually think the Titans are going to win this. I didn't see a lot from them last week, and I was kind of disappointed. I think Derrick Henry will have a solid game, and I also think that offensive passing will have a solid game. Maybe Julio Jones has a big game this week. As far as the Seahawks, I think this will be a close game though, because I think the Seahawks will score again. I just don't know if their defense is going to hold up. But they played really well last week. They really proved me wrong picking against them. So I just don't know if that's going to hold up. And like I said, they're playing the Colts, who really disappointed me. So I just think that offense is it could end up being trouble for the Seahawks.
Honestly, I'm gonna go to the Seahawks. I think that Russell Wilson is gonna ball out in the first half like he did against the Colts. He's gonna make some big plays down the field, and I think Seattle has a decent defense, but Titans do have Derrick Henry. But as long as the Seahawks can capitalize, like shutting down Derrick Henry, I think they'll be fine because the offense will like carry them in that game.
Yeah, that game. That's another game where it could really go either way for me. But I'm just like so high up on that Tennessee offense. Like I don't even know how they didn't keep up in the last game. I know their offensive line kind of struggled. They got Chandler Jones himself had 5 sacks. So I just think maybe this is the bounce back week, and we can expect them to have a big game.
All right, Cowboys versus Chargers.
That's an interesting game. That's a really good game in my opinion. So I'm gonna have the Cowboys winning the one. Actually, I really loved what I saw from them, and I actually really liked what I saw from the Chargers last week as well. But I kind of just feel like that Cowboys offense, as long as most of them healthy, they did just lose their tackle. I don't know if they're gonna have their guard this week. I actually can't remember if he's back in this week or not. But I think they're just a great passing team, and they're gonna be able to they're gonna stay up. I think they're gonna be able to stay up with them. But I think this is another close game, and another tough toss-up game. So Cowboys though, for me.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game, but I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I mean, the Cowboys did lose Marcus Lawrence.
And that is a good point.
Yeah. And even though the Cowboys does have a good offense, their defense is kind of lackluster, and I think the Chargers are going to capitalize on it. So I feel like Justin Herbert's going to like fall out against the Cowboys.
I could see it. I mean, like I said, this is another close game for me. It's kind of like, for me, I think there is no clear pick, and I think that'll be a fun game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a high scoring game for sure. I feel like. All right, next game. Chiefs versus Ravens.
Chiefs. I actually don't like what I saw from the Ravens at all last week. I thought they really should have just pummeled the Raiders. I'm not like the highest on the Raiders, but they did impress me with that win last week. Even with the depleted Ravens, I really thought they were going to win that game. But there's some concern with the offensive line there. Their defense as well. I just don't know if this Baltimore team can live with the injuries they've had this year. So they just put in Devontae Smith. They just added him today. So, or Devontae Freeman, right? I think that's right.
Oh, they did.
I think they just promoted him today. Let me make sure. Freeman, yeah. Devontae Freeman to the active roster. So he just got promoted. Another running back up there. I don't know. I don't think that makes a huge difference. I think that offense is really going to have to be carried by Lamar Jackson, and I don't know if he can really do that, especially against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is an easy pick, and I'm going with the Chiefs there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Chiefs too. I mean, Chiefs played Brown last week, and even though they were down, they didn't lose the game. They came back and beat the Browns. So
Yeah.
I feel like, however, the Chiefs go down against the Ravens, either they're like down a lot against the Ravens, you can't count them out. So yeah, I'm just going to the Chiefs. I mean, it's a pretty obvious answer.
Yeah, I don't think that one's a hard one to choose.
Yeah, plus the Ravens lost against the Raiders in overtime, so that one's
Yeah, like I said, I'm not the
tough to pick the
highest on
Ravens.
the Raiders, and I don't like the fact that the Ravens lost to them. I had them winning that game, and they lost.
Yeah. All right, next game: Lions versus Packers.
Is this our last game? Is this Monday Night Football?
Yep.
So I know, and surprisingly, the Lions actually looked pretty decent last week.
Mhm.
They put up a good fight at the end against the 49ers, but I still think this is probably the worst team in the NFL right now, and they just lost one of their corners for the year. So I expect the Green Bay Packers to bounce back. Aaron Rodgers to have a great game. Aaron Jones to have a great game. Devontae Adams and those receivers have a good game. And for the Packers to bounce back and even up at 1-1. I don't think this is a hard game to pick at all, honestly.
Yeah. Then I'm going against with the Packers too. I think they'll bounce back and beat the Lions. I mean, even though the Lions did show like good things from last week against the 49ers, I think Aaron Rodgers is just gonna hit the books, come back
I just
swinging.
I just think I don't know what happened really with them in that game, but I'm really sold on the fact that they're gonna bounce back, and I think they're gonna crush the Lions. Honestly,
Yeah, but if the Packers do lose the Lions, I'm there picking Packers again.
is the rest of the season you're not gonna pick the Packers?
Yeah, I'm not picking the Packers. I think it's a losing
Yeah.
season. I think that, or I think Aaron Rodgers wants to get out of
He
Green
already
Bay.
wants out. I mean, he's getting out after this season, so
That's why
I
he
would
doesn't
I would
care.
well, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, but that is our game picks, right? That should do it.
Yep.
Um, as far as this week, I think that's pretty much all we wanted to go over. You got anything else?
Mm, no, not really.
Yeah, no.
No.
All right. I think that'll do it for this week for the Spider Y2 Banana podcast. This one probably coming out a little bit late just because we had trouble. Y2. Y2. So hopefully we're getting it back on a more timely manner. And hopefully the audio is better for those who said it was a little bit quiet last time. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like. If you want to keep watching, please subscribe. But regardless, we're doing this every week. Isn't that right, Kevin?
Yep.
All right, Kevin, why don't you send us off?
Um. Bam. Banana split. What? Is that good?
Yeah, that's good, Kevin.
Yeah. Hell yeah.